Is weird, odd, strange, or just plain bizarre is really your cup of tea? Then, the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast will give you that fix. Can't believe it? Well, listen for yourself as Jordan and Keith delivers the strangest news you definitely won't find on CNN or Fox. It's the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast with Jordan and Jordan. Okay, we did it. So far, so good. Okay, so to let you guys know a little bit of news, Keith cannot make it this week. He accidentally stepped into an alternate dimension where he had a sister, and that sister has a wedding that he has to go to. So hopefully he'll find his way back next week. In the meantime, we have so much stuff to talk about right now. And by we, I mean just me, and you guys have a lot to listen to. So this is going to be really exciting. This is going to be probably the best show that we've ever had so far, at least, maybe. I don't know, too soon to say, but I've got a good feeling about it. So without further ado, if I could just get started by really just talking about my week. It's been a really, really rough week. So I went out to go get a sandwich on the way here, and I saw this bus full of orphans, and it was hanging off the cliff. So, of course, I had to go into that bus, and I had to carry out all of these orphans before the bus fell off the cliff. I did make it in time, but unfortunately, by the time that I get to the sandwich place that I normally pick up my Cuban, the line was too big. The rush hour came in, so made me really feel like I didn't manage my time enough. Glad about the bus, though. Don't get me wrong. Glad I was able to save the day, but I'm without lunch, so that's really going to take away from everything. But don't worry, it'll take away from everything except for this show. So if I can go ahead and start off, I'm going to go ahead and tell you guys about a guy in the UK who builds this 6-bedroom mansion. It's huge. He does it in his mom's backyard. He gets it through, selling drugs, money laundering, things of that sort. Fills it up with very nice, fine art. Pretty much makes a mansion. And on the side of it, he completely disguises it with this very cool looking, like it's a shed, like it looks like a $200 shed. So you get this very glamorous look from the in the front view. From the side, it looks like just they're storing lawnmowers in it. So this guy, with his shed that he lives in, decided to claim bankruptcy because he only lives in a shed and only has a few $100s worth of things in his name, exactly $800 worth. So poor guy. So they went to go ahead and investigate. They realized that he's living in Shangri-La right now. He's living in the captain's cabin of any ship that you liked growing up, and he's just living it up. So now he's going to be arrested because of that. Because, the whole not lying on a government form about, being broke when you have a lot of money. Also the whole selling drugs and, there's a lot of factors in here of why you're going to jail. So he's going to go to jail for 6.5 years. Poor man. I feel so sorry for him. I mean, all he's doing is money laundering, drug trafficking, lying, and all of that just for, 6.5 years. As I said that out loud, honestly, I'm starting to see the side here. But the man was 61 years old. His name was Alan Yalman, and had to get rid of his little house in the backyard. It was built without any permits as well, so this was just a very unknown shed altogether. So if you're listening out there, Yalman, which I guess you're probably not because of the whole getting arrested thing, nice try. I mean, it looks really convincing. We'll post a picture of this on the Twitter. This is a really cool-looking shed mansion, and even if I did it legally, if I did all the right things, I'd still want to make this very inconspicuous shed my home. It looks, oh man, well done. But also, you don't know that because you're in jail. So there's that. And in other news, I kind of can't get this shed out of my head. I didn't mean to rhyme there, but in all honesty, this seems like the perfect setup because No one's going to come knocking on your door or slip Chinese takeout menu restaurant things in between the crack. Nobody's going to approach you asking if you want to be a this or sign a petition for that. You're just living in something that looks so podunk, and as soon as you just turn an angle, Shangri-La, once again, you are living it up. And I think that's exactly what I want in my life. That's what I need in my life. I need a, looks a little dirty from one angle, looks absolutely gorgeous from the other kind of place. So it would really beat the apartment that I'm staying in anyways. But so that's going on there. In other news, we're going to also talk about the Olympics in Rio. Because while that's a very mainstream thing, there's a lot of weird stuff happening there. Like the fact that everything's going terribly, and everything went terrible at the last Olympics in the Russia. It just seems like a really dangerous situation to get in. So if this can be a PSA to the kids, don't go out for the Olympics. That's a dangerous life. Be a doctor or a brain surgeon or someone that owns a really nice burger stand by the beach, in like a boardwalk situation. The Olympics are quickly just going to be thrown into a very dangerous third world looking situation where, as in the case for the Rio Olympics, you get kidnapped. That's right, you get kidnapped. You came to this country, and also this case, from New Zealand, but any country you get kidnapped from when the Olympics, you guys get the point. They have found that there is cocaine being sold with the Olympics brand on it, and also this guy from New Zealand, very, very nice guy, Jason Lee, sounds kind of like an actor. He was a jiu-jitsu athlete, still could not repel him from all the kidnappings. Well, there's just one, the kidnapping. So he was taken by these two guys that were dressed as cops, taken to an ATM, and made to empty out his bank account. Why is this happening? I don't know. The Olympics are a real dangerous place. I guess that's our one takeaway from this. And what a learning experience it's been. I feel kind of enlightened because my entire life I wanted to be a hero that was in the Olympics on a Wheaties box. And maybe that's the appeal. Maybe that's the appeal of the Olympics. It's not that you trained hard and you're the best swimmer that this world has seen, at least in 2016. Not only that, though, but you can live in the most rugged of situations, getting kidnapped in other cases, also being told to keep your mouth closed while you're swimming because the water's contaminated. There's just so many factors that you're also overcoming, along with being a man who is on a Wheaties cereal box. So there's a lot going on for you if you're in the Olympics, and I do salute you. But if you're somebody that just wants to be an athletic star, but you also don't want to live in rugged terrain, just settle for a professional football player. I think that's your best route to go. It can even be the European football. You can't go wrong with either one of them. So shout out to the Olympics, everyone who's playing there. We salute you. You're doing a great job. You're like firemen. You're the real heroes. Unless, some scandal comes up in a week or two or a month, how scandals work. And I retroactively regret saying all of that stuff about saying everybody in the Olympics is a nice guy. But for now, we're really doing good. So that's our Olympics little wrap-up. That one felt good to me, felt very right. We're going to go also into Mario Batali. You may know him from TV as the chef. Yeah, that Mario Batali. This isn't a different man. So this is a little fun fact. You guys remember Crocs and how normally people don't really like Crocs? They were a big thing, and now it's this kind of thing where you get judged if you're wearing Crocs. There are even subsets of Crocs that will further give you judgment. But Crocs has noticed this, and they've taken care of it by just discontinuing the color altogether. While there used to be orange Crocs, people took it down because there's already Crocs. Let's not make things weirder. But Mario Batali, a man of habit, did not like that whatsoever. He ordered a lifetime supply of his favorite Crocs, the orange ones, before that they discontinue them. So if you see 30 years from now, if you step into a time machine and you wake up, it's 30 years, and you see Mario Batali wearing orange Crocs, you didn't necessarily travel back in time. Mario Batali, just a man of habit, just a man who loves habits in the color orange and shoes with holes all over them will always be wearing them. And for that, also, much like the Olympics, we got to salute Mario Batali. Or not really. I guess I don't have a strong opinion on it, but, I haven't seen a lot of people that really own Crocs. You see people with Toms, you see people that are, like, wearing shoes that are, you have this judgment, you have that. People very much widely, at least the people I'm around, not a big fan of Crocs. This man not only still wears them, bought a lifetime supply, and also wears what I think could debatably be one of the more unpopular colors. So I think that's salutable. That's salutable. He's owning it. And I think that's why we liked Mario Batali from the beginning. Had nothing to do with his cooking. Maybe 10% of his cooking. 35% of his cooking tops. But really, when we see Mario Batali, he's just a man who stays true. So with that, very, a group of inspirational stories. When we come back, we're going to be talking about more things which may or may not be more or less inspirational. So we'll see you guys very soon.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Okay, and we are back. Hey, everybody, it's Jordan again, just Jordan. Still, nothing's changed. I had an amazing commercial break. Commercial break. It's so hard to pronounce. Anyways, you guys get what I'm trying to say here. It was a lot of fun. I felt like I learned a lot about myself and the articles and stories that I am going to be telling you guys next. Actually, I learned that beforehand, but, it was nice, I got to reread, look through them again, and just, feel that much more confidence about everything, so I've said 6 times in a sentence, and that's how we know that this next article is going to be about a tattoo artist. So this is going to be our tattoo kind of segment here, because this is whenever tattoos go bad. That's right, you heard me and read in the show description. So you guys know about tattoos, right? It's kind of a fad. It's really catching on. I think a lot of people are really starting to see the appeal in it. I'm really just starting to see tattoos just everywhere. But what if tattoos go wrong? Now, I'm not talking about like a tattoo where you thought it was, said lucky in Chinese, but really it meant like toilet face, or a tattoo that had like a tribal symbol that you were told meant that you're fierce, independent, strong, and everything that you were ever thought you couldn't be. But that, again, was just, a bunch of lines that the tattoo artist thought looked really cool, and we find that out later. No, it's not even tattoos go bad like bob wire. No, that's getting too far. There's a lot of people with bob wire around their arm. They're going to take offense to that. No offense, guys. But anyways, just let me get to the story. Don't be hurt by this. Just let me keep going. Someone went to get a yin-yang symbol, all right? This woman. I don't know if you guys ever heard of a yin-yang symbol. It's not really that mainstream yet. I think it's really catching on, though. Yin-yang symbol is that circle with the white and the black and the duality. Yeah, you guys, of course, know what a yin-yang symbol is. So she wanted to get it on her back, and, she thought this was going to be the thing to do. This was going to be it. So the tattoo artist showed her, the template, That is the word. That is the word. That is a tricky word, but is the one that I just said. He showed her the template of the yin-yang, and she thought, that's a really pretty yin-yang. This is everything that I've wanted in a yin-yang tattoo on my back. It has the white. It has the black. It's in a circle. There's the two smaller circles of white and black in between those. This is spot on a yin-yang symbol. So he says, okay, that's what we'll do, and he started working on her tattoo. So she was very happy with it, or so she thought. She went all the way back home, looked at herself in the mirror to check out the tattoo. Instead of there being a yin-yang, there was a drawing of a penis along with the F word right next to it. So I think this was a classic case of mix-up. Maybe she said yin-yang and he heard penis with the F word right next to it. Maybe. I don't know. What if this was just one of those weird situations where you think, oh man, I cannot wait to get the Chinese word for dragon across my arm because I feel like a dragon sometimes on a good day when I'm, not feeling too alone. And then all of a sudden you look at it and it turns out that in Chinese, it's actually a picture of a penis and the F word. Of course, in this situation, it was in English. It was terrible. It went down just as awful as you think it would. He was actually arrested for doing so, so kind of serves him right there. I mean, of course, this all happened in Austria, and because of everything that, went on, the man, both people aged 21 years old, I'm also going to throw that as a disclaimer. You're thinking, why throw that in? That's not important. That's just their age. But don't you make mistakes when you're 21? I remember when I was young, 21-year-old kid, back in the 30s, and I thought it was really funny to tattoo pictures of penises on people's back, and that was just a big thing. I think everyone who's 21 years old, at one point or another, got into some tattoo graffiti. Yeah, I'm looking at you guys. It's happened. We're all guilty. But I think we can all agree that, honestly, this guy, a little bit too much, a little bit too far, mister. Seems so, but I don't think I'm the only person that thinks that. No, actually, I think an entire courtroom of people would think that, in Austria at least. And I say that because this man has been arrested for 3.5 years in jail, and he's going to be held in a mentally ill facility, a facility for mentally ill offenders. You guys get what's happening here. So, justice served. I feel so sorry for that woman, in all seriousness, that has to carry around the penis tattoo and the whole, the F word right next to the penis tattoo. I mean, you guys know what I'm talking about. But there is a bright side to this. Maybe she can go to a country where English isn't the language spoken primarily, and people might not know what that means. And then she'll have the ability to turn a positive twist on it. If this happened in China and that guy moved to the U.S., guess what he could say that tattoo meant? Dragon. And everybody would believe him, except for cynical people. So while you're out there, I'm so sorry this happened to you, ma'am, and I hope that things get better. Maybe next tattoo, not from the same guy. Oh my God, what if he goes to prison? He's giving prison tattoos. Now that's going to be an interesting one. But, that's for a different podcast. Maybe we'll have an update on that man later. For now, we're going to go ahead and get into some hijinks. Yes, that's right, hijinks. I said the word of the episode. Something we haven't done before and we'll never do again, but it's happening now. The word of the episode. The word of the episode, what that means, as everyone knows, or at least they're learning now, is that we're going to talk about a story that involves a preacher doing something that sounds like he belongs to a high school, like a rival high school, like the Aardvarks versus the Fire Ants, or whatever your team mascots were and what those team mascots were fighting off against. This man's named David Utt. David Utt. Utt with 2 T's. That's the last name. Had no idea, but that's what the show is for both of us. Me, a learning experience for the audience, a learning experience. We're all just experiencing learning. But this man, a pastor for a church in Illinois, of all places. We always thought Illinois was the place to go if you had morals. But apparently, this pastor, also a man that should have morals, broke into another church to try to steal. Now, this sounds like something like if that church had, say, an aardvark or like, an ant farm. I could totally see stealing it to bring out a community, this little fun rivalry. But no, I think this guy was just stealing things, which is a line that you shouldn't cross if you're in high school and have a friendly rivalry with another high school, or if you're a preacher and have a problem that you're trying to resolve with stealing things from a different church. But the important thing is that he was caught and he was brought to justice. Apparently, he even seemed like a really nice guy, too. So I'm just confused of what led this preacher to, to start preying on the innocent. Oh, that's good. I'm keeping that one, guys. I hope you guys enjoy that. I feel like there was a good chunk of audience that's going to groan at that, but the ones that didn't, good on you people. So he was arrested after trying to really steal from the church. Everyone thought he was a really nice guy. They noticed a suspicious car, though, parked behind the church at 1 a.m., a little bit after 1 a.m. on a Monday morning, which who's awake 1 a.m. on a Monday morning besides, a lot of people? Who's at church? All right, that's a better question to ask, so I'm going to leave with that one. Yeah. So they found it. They found the door was forced open, and they found him breaking into a safe in the office. They couldn't hardly believe it. I mean, why do this? Why break into a church? Even people in his own congregation were like, what the heck, bro? That's not cool. But, Illinois, a place that we always assume to have an amazing moral background, basically the backbone of our principles and morals in the U.S. A little bit disappointed, but I still have plenty of faith that you guys are going to pick up on it. You've made your mistakes. You've learned from them. No more having an arsonist. Not an arsonist. I'm sorry. Now I'm making up. I'm starting rumors about this man. Now there's going to be news stories that come out. Arsonist preacher breaks into other church with a question mark at the end. No. Let's just watch out on who we elect, who we choose to be the guy that tells us when we do things right and wrong and what we should do in our life and be our, spiritual guidance. So a good closer to end for this next commercial break. So when we come back, we're going to be doing another round of stories. These are going to be even better than before. And I know you guys are thinking, really? Or, oh, really? Either way you used to, say that, whatever tone you chose, this is going to be great. So I will see you guys soon. In the meantime, hang 10 like the surfers. Yeah, you guys got it.
Are you looking for the very best NFL and college football podcast? Then check out the GSMC Football Podcast. Get the latest football news both on and off the field. From the NFL Draft to trades to the rumor mill to the NFL Combines, they got you covered. That's GSMCpodcast.com/football-podcast. Get updates on college rivalries, game day insights, and much, much more. It's football talk the way you want it. This show eats, sleeps, and breathes football. Don't forget to like them on Facebook and follow them on Twitter. Visit GSMCpodcast.com for more info.
Hey guys, we had a lot of fun today, and we're going to keep having a lot of fun because the show's not over yet. Yeah, sorry commercial enthusiasts, but there's more show before we can even get to other things. So if I can just go ahead and do that introduction that I normally do. Welcome to the Golden State Media Concepts Weird News Podcast with Jordan, and still just me. So I'm going to go ahead and say that. I forgot to open up with that. Something I like to do, and we're going to just keep bouncing off these stories. Now, before we get to our main one that's going to be really fun to talk about, I have to tell you guys about something that still is very interesting to me. I can't get enough about it. Just the thought of this one, the possibilities with it, make me just get so excited. So there's a man, I say that, and this is going to sound really terrible. So a Seattle man threatens a bouncer with a spear, and then he targets the cops with a batarang. Now, why did I say that gets me excited? I understand where you're coming from. That sounds like what am I, some kind of sick man who just loves violence? No, not more than the average guy. Actually, I like this because this guy sounds wacky. He sounds incredibly wacky, ridiculous, kind of like a Batman supervillain. And, I mean, I'm glad that he chose a batarang because out of all the things you can attack somebody, when you run at somebody with a spear, and as far as I know, no one was hurt from this. He was arrested. That's why I can say this guilt-free. This was a really, just a cool story because he runs out and he throws a batarang at a police vehicle. He's threatening a guy with a spear. He was a 23-year-old man, unidentified. I can only give you his age, not his name. But that also seems to be the right thing to do usually. So he was arrested on a felony charge, and the police are also seeking weapons and obstruction charges to add to it because when he came out to the bar, the man, he had a knife attached to a metal pole. Already very silly. So I think the next logical step for this man to do while he's contemplating, I probably shouldn't do dumb things like make weapons and also threaten police. Now I'm in jail. This turned out just as well as it does for anyone else. That's a thought process you should have. Or maybe instead of thinking and reevaluating his life and realizing what it really is to be a good person in this community, in any community, maybe he should start thinking about the Batman villain names. I mean, if you're so you have a spear, you have a batarang. What can we do for that? What can we come up with it? If you could just give me a second, I can really lay this one on good. Nope, nothing's coming to mind. But that's the thing. That's the beauty about jail. You have so much time to think about important things like what you want your supervillain name to be. When this guy comes out, he's either going to be a better person or hopefully he's a better person. Let me go ahead and let me play the safe answer and cast my bet on that. But what if this man comes out realizing costume designs and makeup designs, and yeah, in this perfect world, he can't actually be very threatening because that's going to make everything like this sound terrible. But what if he was non-threatening? He was a very bad criminal, kind of like how he was now. You don't throw a batarang at a police car. That sounds... I mean, first of all, you're throwing a piece of metal at a car. It's all right. Well, you guys get the fall with this, but maybe he's still just as incompetent. But at least now he's got a kind of a style to it. You know, what if he's got some grappling hooks? And once again, no real danger, except for the fact that he has a persona, something that we can talk about and bring back on this show. Will we hear from this guy again? I completely doubt it. But once again, the big what if. What if this comes out to be our first supervillain, Batman-esque comic book-like supervillain with a wacky name like, nothing is coming to mind. Maybe next episode, the first thing I'll start off with is just the best name possible for this villain. In the meantime, we can only hope that nobody gets hurt with whatever decision he makes, and at least good will come out of it, regardless. So here we are with our main story. Drum roll, please. Not a good drum roll. I don't even think you guys could hear it. I'm sure if we play that back, it's going to be even more disappointing than it is now. But regardless, our top story is about a man who wrote a book, a novelist, who wrote a book about crime, who wrote a book about bank robbing, tried to rob a bank just like his book. He had a novel idea. I'm sorry, once again, that's a groaner. To rob a bank just like how he wrote it, and he did it exactly how he planned it. It's just that it didn't work out for him as well. So, like the character in the book, the writer couldn't make ends meet. He was struggling, so he decided to, rob a bank instead of writing another book. I guess that first one didn't turn out too well. Maybe this is the publicity he needs. Regardless, just like in the book, things didn't go according to plan. He entered the bank wearing a mask, carrying a pistol. So, a starting pistol, kind of like the ones that you start a race with. The really scary ones. So he threatened the staff, ordered the customers to lie on the ground, doing basic bank robbery things, right? So after he's getting the cash, he ordered the teller to open the safe, which was protected by a time delay system. So he waited 25 minutes on the premise, and then he fled. with 32,000 pounds, the euro equivalent of that, you know. We would know, as in the U.S., that's basically a lot of monies. But, you know, if you guys equivalate a lot of monies, 32,000, it's a lot. So the delay, though, that he took because of the delay from the safe, it meant that the police were already en route, and they arrested him as he got outside. So in the book, the villain, he flees on a bike and changes clothes hidden behind an oak tree. But in real life, the robber, while he had a bike and he had clothes hidden behind an oak tree, you know, didn't work out as well. So they charged the man, unnamed, but I'm sure we can just, you know, Wikipedia the plot line to his arrest records and figure out what's happening. He was charged with extortion under threat of force, extortionate abduction, and illegally carrying a starting pistol. Once again, one of the most aggressive pistols that we have. So the defendant, according to his defense lawyer, he's going to be making a full confession next month with trial. So hopefully, once again, these are all stories that we can kind of follow through on. At least all of these stories are stories I want to follow through on, but we probably won't be able to. What I really love about this one, though, is this one sounds insane, much like a Batman villain, a super villain from Batman. And I know you guys thought, well, that other one's obvious. He's got weird weapons. This guy has the exact opposite. He has a weird backstory / motive. He's the guy who wrote a book of the exact same crime, almost just like prophecy fulfilled. In the book, it didn't work out for him, and neither did this. He followed it to a T. It's like one of those things where if he did get away with it, the detectives were trying to look for it, and then they would read that book, and then all dots would point to him. It's a story that could easily be in a movie because of how ridiculous. Probably not a good movie if it was by itself, but if it was with another character, say, I still can't think of a name for that guy with the spear and the batarang, and they teamed up together, two weird plots together in one, now that's something I would watch. But there's a few things I want to point out with this story that I don't understand. It was a self-fulfilling prophecy that this didn't work out for him, not in real life and not in his scenario. This just did not turn out well. And why would you not want to add a few tweaks to the plan? I mean, first of all, your book didn't sell too well. This wasn't $1 million idea. If it sold well enough, I feel like we would have had more of an idea of what's going on. We would have kind of heard more about this. I feel like there should have been a bit more self-critiquing. There should have been more, well, in the book that failed, so what if we do this instead? Also, it seems like the story itself is kind of unrealistic that you got even this close because, and I didn't read the book, but did you even mention the delayed timer on a bank safe? I don't know. It feels like you didn't think about it. And I didn't read the book, so you're thinking, well, he may have put that there. But it doesn't seem like you did because, once again, this jail thing. You know, now that I think about it, this has been a very jail-filled episode. So many people have gone to jail. But on the bright side, you're not, and you're listening to this podcast, or at least you were. Because with that beautiful story, I think it is officially time to wrap up this episode. We had a lot of fun, and as I've been saying throughout the episode, it's not we, it's just me. I had a lot of fun doing this. I hope you guys have had nearly as much fun as I've had. If you've had 80% of the amount of fun I've had, then you still had a lot of fun as well. So if I could just go ahead and take this time to thank everybody for listening, and if you enjoyed our show, you can catch us on GSMCpodcast.com and iTunes and Google Play. You can like us on Facebook. You can follow us on Twitter. Even you can listen to us on SoundCloud. There's so many ways to access our show. I'm frankly a little bit scared. This is something that I feel so vulnerable. You can hear me through so many different outlets. So with that, I'm just going to go ahead and close this show. Thanks again, guys. I've had a lot of fun. And until next episode, I can say this without anyone interrupting me. It's going to feel so good. I will see you guys out there in space. Or somewhere out there. Oh, I botched it. Oh well, get it next time. Get it right next time.